Well, good afternoon and good morning, everybody. My name is Jesse, and I'm here with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. If you're new to us, which so many of you are from around the world today, we are all about bringing conservation, adventure, and science into classrooms around the world through over 40 live, free, monthly interactive broadcasts. And you are catching us on a very special day for two reasons. Number one, this is our entire month solely dedicated to the most amazing women in science, exploration, and education on planet Earth. We've got 50 programs this month with everything from Egyptologists to paleontologists, coral reef restoration, Arctic exploration, and more. It's a wild ride, and everything we do is on our YouTube channel, so you can check out like 4,000 past broadcasts there. It is very, very fun. Secondly, and the reason I'm so bundled up today in an unusual costume is that we are hanging out with our amazing friends at the Canadian Wildlife Federation to talk about embracing the chill, lessons from winter wildlife. So I certainly here in Western Newfoundland had to clean 3 feet of snow off my roof the other day in like -20. So I've been bundled up all winter long, and we're going to learn about some amazing strategies that animals have for doing the same. Now I'm going to turn you over to Jeannie in just a second to blow our minds and take us away on a big adventure, but I want to note we do have a Kahoot today as well. So between our talk and our Q&A, we're going to have a little 4-question quiz to test your understanding, have a little bit of fun, so you can play along with that game pin and get that up on a separate tab right now. Now, without further ado, we are going to take it away with Jeannie. She's going to blow our minds for about 20-25 minutes, and I'm so excited for you to play along too. So teachers, have your hands on the keyboard because we have a bunch of questions for our audience today as well. Without further ado, Jeannie, welcome to the broadcast, and take us away. Hello.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Embrace the Chill, Lessons from Winter Wildlife. So my name's Jeannie. I'm joining you guys from a little place called Gaspé in Quebec, so in the eastern part of the province. I'm really happy to be here because wildlife and winter, two of my favorite things. My passion is wildlife. So we're going to start with a little icebreaker. We see three animals on the screen. Can you tell me who they are? What are their names?
Ooh, okay. And again, this is our first of many questions, so get ready in the chat, everyone. StreamYard, YouTube, what do we got? We've got, I don't know. Let's find out what our folks say online. We've got owl. We've got snowy owl. Maybe people know that from Hedwig and Harry Potter. Certainly that's what I think of. We've got red fox, Arctic fox. You guys are like on the ball in our chat today. So way to go. I think they're on the ball with our foxes and owls today, Jeannie, to kick us off. That's awesome.
Good. That's exactly. Arctic fox lives in the northern regions, eastern red fox, right across Canada, except BC Islands and the high Arctic. And then we have the snowy owl. I really like this one, partly because it's just really cool and because of Harry Potter, but also because it's Quebec's national bird. Okay, with that, next slide, I'm going to ask you a really important question. Are you ready? How do you feel about winter? So you have 3 choices. I love it. You like skating and sliding and snowboarding. You always have your juke or your hat and your mitts and you're ready for the snow. So you're a snow lover. Okay, next choice. How do you feel about winter? It's okay. So you'd rather be in the house, sitting by a fire with drinking hot chocolate, nice warm socks, maybe watching TV or playing a video game. So you're a snow tolerator. Next one. I hate winter. So you're a snow fearer. You would rather be in the south, sitting in the sand and walking in the snow. You'd rather swim in warm water than skate on frozen ponds. So you are a snow fearer. So I'd like to know, with all you guys, where do you fit? What's your answer? Who are you?
We've got some hilarious answers for this. We've got it. I hate it, unfortunately, is one of my favorite answers of all time. We've got I love it from our folks in California who have no idea what real winter is like at all. You have to come up here and check it out. We've got a bunch of medium, not so much. I'd say the overwhelming thing is not so much, but then there's a few people that just really love it. So that's a nice mix, Jeannie.
Good stuff. Personally, I love it. It's my favorite season. Okay, so now that we've looked at how we feel about winter, we're going to look at wildlife. Let's see what they do. Okay, so wildlife, they have 3 main responses to winter. 1, they migrate. 2, they hibernate. 3, they adapt. So let's see what happens next. So the snow fearers, they migrate. So migration is just a movement of animals from one location to another, often north to south, high elevation, so the mountains down towards the sea, east-west, and some do circular routes. So why do they leave? Mostly because of temperature. And with that, the colder temperatures, there's less food available. So they leave so it can be nice and warm and they can have something to eat all winter. Migrations can be really short, a few hours. Sometimes it can take weeks, and it takes a lot of energy. We're going to look at one species that migrates next. So we're going to look at the Arctic tern. It has one of the longest annual migration distances recorded for bird species, 96,000 kilometers, or for my friends in the States, 60,000 miles they migrate in a year. That's a lot. It can take up to 3 months. So that's their part in that. And then we're going to look at the monarch butterfly. So in Canada, we have actually two distinct populations of monarchs. We have an eastern population and a western population. They don't head to the same places in the winter. So the eastern population heads down to Mexico, and the western population heads down to the coast of California. Okay, so now we're going to look at our next category. These are the snow tolerators. So they either hibernate, so they go into a physical state where an animal's body function slows down to conserve energy through a cold season when there's limited food and water. So if we look at a black bear, which we have here in Quebec, they stock up all summer. They eat lots and lots and lots, so they have lots of fat, and they hibernate in the winter. Those of you who are in the West, you would know more about grizzly bears. They do the same thing. And if you're joining us from the North, it would be the polar bears. They do the same things. We see badgers. We don't have badgers here in Quebec, but yeah, they also hibernate. The difference, you might ask, between hibernation and brumation is which animals do it. So warm-blooded animals, bears, badgers, bats, they do real hibernation. Brumation is done by cold-blooded animals. So we see a turtle, we see a snake, they do brumation. Torpor is something else. This is a short-term inactivity. So they slow, their body temperature goes down, their heart rate, respiration goes down. And what does that here? Birds and little mice. So those are those two. Next. So our next slide is about our third category, snow lovers. So they adapt. So how do they adapt? Okay, excuse me. So we have a Canada lynx who has really, really broad feet. Tell me how that helps you adapt in winter. I'd like to know what you think.
Ooh, let's see. Again,
audience,
it's so great in the chat. So please do feel free. Broad feet in the winter. How might that help? Maybe if you think about it as something that humans could do with snowshoes, perhaps, is a little bit of a hint. We've got walk on the snow. We've got not sink down. So they're on the ball, Jeannie. They, broad feet help you not go through things that are a little bit less stable than the solid ground. Perfect.
That's exactly. I really like the comparison to snowshoes. That's exactly what they're like. Okay, then we have feathered legs. So what's that for? What does it do?
What do we think? I don't know. I started off, I know that I'm in a t-shirt now, but I started off in a big jacket. Maybe feathered legs might help in some way. We had better grip earlier, trudge through the snow earlier. Fantastic. Feathered legs, tread faster, grip on the ice, insulation. Insulation might be our thing. Bird legs are really skinny and can get cold pretty fast. So provide insulation is our overwhelming response. Perfect.
Good stuff. Okay, driving in here this morning, I saw a lot of seals. We have many, many seals here. And you know what? They're laying on the ice, and it's like 20 below Celsius, so it's pretty cold, and they dive into the water. So what do you think those layers of fat are doing?
Our audience is pretty on the ball with this already. They see where you're going. So I know for me in the winter, I gained like 7 pounds because I ate endless amounts of cookies. And that made me feel a little bit warmer because I had all this fat layer. And so keep us warm is our overwhelming blubber insulation. So yeah, whether you've got feathered legs or that layer of fat, keeps them warm, Jeannie.
Good stuff. We'll go quickly at shivering. We do that too. So what happens when you get out of a pool and the wind is blowing, it's really cold?
Oh, you're
shivering. It increases your body temperature. Yeah. Good stuff. Tell me what a color change is. How is that an adaptation for winter?
Ooh, that's an interesting one. Okay, I'm going to open the floor for this one. Get in. What do you think color changes? And if people chime in for some of the other ones too, I'll keep my eye out for all those. But let's see. Oh, private chat coming in. Keep warm. Okay, so you've got more keeping warm. So maybe different things. We've got to hide, to blend in. Yes. So our rabbit here might get a little bit different in the winter.
Mm-hmm. Great. Hide from predators, blend in to hide, right? And their fur also thickens up in the winter, so that helps. Why would small ears and tail be important?
Ooh, let's see what we think. Small ears and tail, everybody. You guys are like the best chat group of all time. Way to go, everybody. Let's see. Come on in the chat. Okay. We've got not so much surface to be cold, but that's pretty good right on top of it. So very fantastic. If you hold your hand out, if you hold your fingers out, those can get really, really cold. But if you keep them in a nice big mitt, it won't get as cold. So less frostbite, less surface area to get cold. You guys are amazing. Oh,
exactly. To get cold, less frostbite. That's great. And huddling. I have hens. When it's really, really cold, they huddle.
Keep them together. Don't get quite as cold.
So they just
Perfect. Awesome. Oh, we lost Jeannie a little bit. We're going to get Jeannie back.
Their body warmth together. Okay, now we're.
Let's see. Sorry for the delay, folks. Had a little bit of a tech issue getting in good connection today. We've been so far so good. So I think we're going to be back in business in just a second with Jeannie as we continue along with our adaptations and snow lovers. Let's see. Fingers crossed. Worst case scenario, if we lose Jeannie for any significant period of time, what I'm going to do is play a little Kahoot with us and do our quiz in the middle, and then we'll have her back for the second half of the presentation. But in theory, she should be right back, and we'll be good.
And
so
a little test. No.
Oh, good.
It's got to be fun.
Jeannie, I think we're back, Jeannie. Maybe.
Okay.
Kind of, sort of. Okay. Go for it. Take us away.
What? I love the internet connection.
Never a dull moment. Okay, we've got a little test, you said. Animal, a snow lover, a tolerator, or a fear. So we're going to go through some animals together, and we're going to get your thoughts on whether they're a lover, like some of you, tolerator, or a fear. They don't like winter at all. That's about right, Jeannie, right?
Okay.
Awesome. Cool. All right. If we want to dive ahead with our next slide, Jeannie, you can flick your mic back on, and we'll go from there. Sorry for the little delay, folks. But we've got a garter snake here as our first option. What do we think about garter snakes? Tolerator, fear,
actually, yeah, what do they do? Do they pack up and head south? Do they hibernate? What do they do?
Ooh, okay. We had a few people say hate. We've got tolerate. We've got, so I think that might be correct. Tolerate is our answer. So they do, Jeannie, they hibernate, correct?
They do. They brumate because they're cold-blooded. Brumation. So yeah, but they stay. So good. So I'm going to ask you the next one before I actually show you the picture because it's the same thing going on as last time. So if anybody know what a ptarmigan is? Ooh. If you remember earlier in the adaptation slide, we had birds with feathers on their legs and feet. Those were ptarmigan. Yeah. So what do you think? Are they snow lovers, tolerators, or haters?
Let's see what's coming in our chat. We've got with the feathers on the feet, we've got lovers, we've got good, they're cool. So we've got lovers. So maybe they're good. They adapt. Let's go to the next slide and check it out.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Good stuff. Next one. Next one's really easy, I think. A leatherback sea turtle. What do they do?
Leatherback sea turtle, folks. What do we think? I don't know. They seem like maybe not their favorite thing in the winter. We've got hater. Yes, leatherback sea turtles are not winter fans. I think they might be onto something, Jeannie.
You got it. They're haters. They head south to Mexico. Smart turtles.
Amazing.
Okay.
All right.
Next one we're going to ask about is a deer mouse. What does a deer mouse do? Do they love it? Do they tolerate it? Or do they head south?
And just for some of our younger kids, a deer mouse is a mouse. It's not a deer. It's just called a deer mouse. So they're little tiny guys, little furry guys. Let's see what we've got in the chat. Tolerate, alt. Man, we've actually almost never had such a unanimous audience for things in a quiz before. So you guys are doing a great job with this. Tolerate is our universal thing. They make do somehow.
All right. Good stuff. There's our deer mouse. So they tolerate. They experience torpor when it's really cold. Next one, we already had a hint. An Arctic fox.
Ooh, Arctic fox. I mean, Arctic's in the name. So perhaps that might be your hint. We've got Lover
Lover of
yes.
winter.
Lover of winter. Way to go, everybody.
Good stuff. Exactly. Next one's interesting. A little brown bat. These are my favorite. What do they do?
Ooh, the Arctic fox in the pictures. This is a black picture. Makes me think they have a different color coat. Little brown bat. So we've got little tiny guys, flyers. What do we think? Lover. We've got lover. That's interesting. We've got hater. Oh, now we're mixed up. No one really knows what's going on with the bat. Let's see. Tolerator. We got everything. Tolerator is our answer. Hey.
Yes, because little brown bats actually stay here. They hibernate. Not all bats hibernate. Some bats are migratory species, but these guys, the little brown bats, stay. I work with bats, species at risk. We follow a maternity in the summer, and that's where when they come out of hibernation, they go to a maternity and they have their babies there. So we do exit counts. We go there and we count them as they come out of their maternity at night when the sun goes down. And then we wait till after they have their babies and we go back and we count again. So that way we have an idea of how many babies they had, which is really neat because they're dying off. So it's important that we work with them. Okay, just in passing. Next one we have, you ready? A polar bear.
Polar bear. Oh, well, like our Arctic fox. I think the name might give it away a little bit. Let's see what we've got.
A little hint in the name.
Yeah, lover, lover, lover. Yes, polar bears. I think that might be correct.
You got it.
Nice.
Okay.
This audience
next
is
one,
amazing.
a ruby-throated hummingbird. The little guys that drink at the red feeders.
Yeah.
What do they do? Do they stick around in winter?
We did a hummingbird program not too long ago, and I found out that a lot of students have not seen a hummingbird, and to see a ruby-throated hummingbird in person is one of the great joys in life. So I hope you all get that chance. But yes, hater, 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 hater. Everyone thinks they hate the winter, and they are correct.
Exactly. They head south. They're gone. Okay. Here's an interesting one. Another species of ours that's kind of in trouble. So a wood frog.
Ooh. By the way, this is an animal that a lot of students will not know, a wood frog offhand, but they're one of the coolest, freakiest creatures in all of nature. And I know we're covering that, but they're so neat. So we've got a lot of tolerate. Wow, man, I've done 2,000 broadcasts. I've never had an audience that's so unified in their answer. So tolerator is our wood frog.
Nice. There he is, our wood frog. Does he hibernate or does he do brumation?
So, Jeannie, we had brumation was a person actually put brumation straight up in the YouTube chat, which is really neat, and online too. So brumation is our answer, but tell us more.
Nice. Well, it's just a difference because they're cold-blooded, so they don't actually hibernate like a bear. So the process is brumation. One more, final one. Yep. We've already kind of looked at it. Okay, so the monarch butterfly, what do they do?
Ooh, we had that picture earlier. What are the monarchs up to? They're doing something. They're not just hanging around. They're not putting on a coat. They got hater. Yes, they're going to sunny California and Mexico.
Migration. Yes. All right, good stuff. So now the next question becomes, what about humans? Are we snow lovers? Are we snow tolerators? Or are we snow haters? What do you think?
I don't know. I got my hat on again. I certainly love winter. And earlier when we asked, we had quite a few lovers of winter. So we got to just put on your toque, get your mitts, get your big coat, and then you love winter. If you go out in a t-shirt, it's not going to be very fun in -20. But we got
this one says tolerate. Yeah. Okay, tolerate. Our skin is not adapted.
Perfect.
Some neat answers. All right. But actually, mostly, I guess we love it. Maybe it depends on where you live. Which leads us to our next question. How do humans, well, maybe don't change us. Yeah. How do humans adapt to winter? Throw some answers out there. How do we adapt?
Yeah. Spoilers. Anyone who's really quick at looking at the slide, you'll know. But I think we got a lot of Canadians today. We got a ton of Canadians. So I think if you don't know how to adapt to winter by now, you're probably in trouble. But let's check it out what we've got. What do we do to help make winter something that we can love or tolerate instead of fear or hate in some way? We've got put on gloves, put on hats, insulation, crank up the heat. Yes, I got the best. Stay inside more. Stay inside more.
Hot chocolate works well and real soft.
Oh, next time we do this broadcast, I think we should get sponsored by a hot chocolate company because that would be very fun. I love hot cocoa. It's the best.
Yes. So physical activity. Yes. Hiking, snowshoeing, skiing, skating, sliding. Those are all things that help keep us warm. Good.
Nice.
Drink hot chocolate. Yes, Amy. Wear lots of layers. Layers are really important. It's like the seal with all the layers. Insulation.
Yeah.
Crank up the heat. Another log on the fire.
Great job, guys.
Okay, let's see what they tell us. Wear warm clothing, hats, mittens, boots, and coats. We got that. Layers. Layers are super important. Heat our homes, furnaces, and fireplaces. Yes. And we can store food. If you pick blueberries or strawberries in the summer, you can freeze them and have that. And then use different transportation methods, snowshoes, dog sleds. We don't see many dog sleds here, but many people have skidoos, snowmobiles. We see a lot of that in the winter. Okay, now I have another really important question. Personally, for you, the thing that you like to do most in winter, the favorite thing that you do in winter, what is that? One thing.
Pretty fun. Okay, yeah, put it in the chat, everybody. I gotta say, so we've got, this is gonna be really interesting. I'm really excited what people share here. I'm in like a winter sports hub of Canada in Western Newfoundland. So we've got ski, we've got sit by the chimney, we've got, let's see what else, hockey, lots of hockey, skiing,
Yes.
sleigh riding, tubing. Yeah, a great toboggan run is one of the great joys in life. Cuddle up by the fire, build.
Oh, love it. Any winter campers out there? Anybody do winter camping?
Yeah, build a snowman, skating on the canal. Very good. I'm taking it. We've got some Ottawa fans in the crowd. Skate. Oh
Nice.
my God. See,
Snowball
winter's the
fights.
best. This is great. Awesome.
Okay, good. Now, next slide, we're going to take a look at some activities that are suggested. So we have go tobogganing. Okay, so we've seen that. A lot of us slide. Sketch the winter landscape. That's a different one for me. Make frozen sun catchers. That's also different. I've never seen that happen before. Some of these, especially for the smaller kids in the classes, you might need some help from your teachers or your mom and dad. Make observation on iNaturalist. That too, your teacher or your parents or your family can help you out with that. Go snowshoeing, build a snow person, go bird watching. Do you really need binoculars to go bird watching? Not really. You can hang out a bird feeder and they will come. But if you start, don't stop. You need to keep feeding them. Search for animal signs. That's one of my favorites. I have some hens. So I have a fox that hangs around hoping for a lunch and we can watch his tracks in the snow. Build a snow fort. Go stargazing. Here's one. Conduct a science experiment with snow. I haven't done that. Try a new winter sport or examine snowflakes. Oh, Northern Lights. Love watching the Northern Lights. So now as one final thing, a lot of people said what they really like to do. Someone likes to sleep. Yeah, it's a good time to sleep when the days are really short and dark. I want you to pick something from here that you've never done and that you'd like to try. What would that look like?
Ooh. For me, I just want to harp on something for a second because a lot of our audience might not know iNaturalist or the Seek app, and I can't encourage you enough. It's if you can find out all the animals that live near you, you can find animals.
Yes.
My colleague Joe literally saw that there was a snowy owl near him on iNaturalist the other day, went out and took some pictures of it, which is amazing. So such a great resource for classrooms. I can't encourage that enough. Yeah. We've got build a snow fort in Alaska. Way to go, our Heinz and Roop crew. Yes, nice. Or if you want to just cross the border, we're a little closer to you guys than in Alaska. So we got lots of snow up here in Canada as well. Fantastic, everybody. I see the Northern Lights. I love it. You guys are so good. Search for animal signs. Going snowshoeing. Come to Newfoundland. We got lots of snowshoeing. I have my snowshoes right in the next room over. Jeannie, we've inspired a lot. It's great.
Okay. So basically now we're going to do just a little recap. So what we looked at was how do we feel about winter? And then we looked at the animals. So we said we know that animals, some of them migrate if it's not warm enough, if they don't have enough food. And the ones that don't migrate, but they don't really love winter, they find a place to hang out and they either hibernate or they do brumation. The cold-blooded ones, warm-blooded hibernation. And then torpor is our mice friends and some of the little birds that have periods of inactivity where their heart rate and their body temperature goes down and they conserve energy. What we're going to suggest is everybody spend at least a half an hour a day outside during the month of February. Yes. Because it's really important to be outside. And with that, we will say...
Amazing.
See you outside.
Well, I hope we all get outside. I was just outside before this broadcast. I went for a 30-minute walk around my pond, and it's quite a blizzardy day, but just so invigorating to go do that. So what we're going to do now, before we dive in with questions about anything people might want to know about our winter animals, adaptations, and more, is we're going to do our Kahoot together. So for those who are new to Kahoot, the faster you answer, the more points you get, and what you win is Jeannie and I's everlasting respect, which is pretty great. So feel free to chime in with that. And if you don't want to do the Kahoot, you just want to yell out the answers in your class, that's totally fine too. We can annoy the principals together all across Canada and the US. So we're going to play along with this, and then we're going to take your questions. While we're giving our classes a second to get into this, I want to note, you highlighted garter snakes. Now, I am a huge snake fan, and something that I've discovered that almost no Canadians know is that we have the biggest snake den in the world in Canada, in Manitoba. So if you want to see like a bazillion snakes, look up the Narcissa Snake Den, and I'll put the spelling of that in the chat in just a minute, but an unexpected winter adaptation and animal for you to peruse when you're done this broadcast. Jeannie, we're going to get underway with our Kahoot. Sorry?
Was it garter snakes, the biggest in Manitoba?
Yeah, nice. Tons of them. A bazillion. I think that might be an exact figure. We're going to dive in with our Kahoot. If you want to give us any hints as we go along, that would be great. And then we're going to head to Ms. Hoole's class for our first question when we do our Q&A. And YouTubers, you can share anytime. So feel free to do that. All right, 3, 2, 1, and we're off. What's a creature that migrates in the winter? Grizzly bear, Canada goose, wood frog, or bison? And I'll give you a hint. It might be in the picture. I don't usually do, but I decided to take it easy on you for your first one. A lot of newbies with Kahoots today.
Good choice.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, wood frogs, if the wood frogs did migrate, that would be really epic. That would look so cool, but they have some neat adaptations instead. And Canada goose is our correct answer. Way to go, everybody. Okay. Our leader is glowing leopard. I kind of hope it's a Canadian animal name to win at the end, but we'll go to question 2. Let's see. Okay, this is a multi-select, which means there's more than one right answer. So keep that in mind. What are some examples of adaptations to winter living? Thick fur, large floppy ears, blubber, or color changing to match the snow? I'll give you a hint. 3 of them are right, and one of them is very, very wrong. No pressure.
And we've seen them. We've seen them all.
We did. We talked about all these. So the correct answers are yes, A, C, and D. Large floppy ears would get too cold. You don't want to have anything that's long and floppy. You want to be tight and thick and round and furry or fatty, and that's what helps you survive in the winter if you are an animal. So most of you did a really, really good job. And no matter what, great job for playing. We love that you guys are participating. Glowing leopard keeps our lead. Going into question 3. We got 2 more. All right, here we go. What are some ways that we prep for winter? Wear warmer clothes, heat our homes and buildings, preserve and freeze food, or all of the above. And if you've ever joined me for a Kahoot before, all of the above might be my favorite go-to answer. Because if we didn't have food to eat in the winter, certainly back when we used to have to like hunt and gather for our food, that would be a pretty bad thing. So let's see what we got. All of the above is correct. So many of you were so quick on the draw with wear warmer clothes. Oh no, that's okay. That's a good answer too. Mountain buffalo, yes, takes the lead. All right, let's go second. Okay, our final question, and I'm going to stress, there's no points for this. I just want to know what you think. What is your favorite winter activity? Building a snowman, going sledding, campfire outdoors, or hiking and exploring? I think from our audience, a lot of your favorite winter activity is sitting inside with TV and hot chocolate. But this year, with our blessing, we want you to go outside and enjoy one of these other things because there's adventure to be had out there. Let's see what we picked. All right. Ooh, good mix of everything. Campfire. Okay. Since it's the lowest answer, while we show our leaderboard, I want to say if you haven't had a campfire outdoors, get some blankets, get some coats, go have a campfire outdoors. One of the great joys in life that you can have. So there you are. All right. Clever Urchin is third. Second is Brave Goat. And first, for all the marbles, from our last time we checked the thing, was Mountain Buffalo. Way to go, guys. If you are any of these folks, let us know who you are in the chat. And we are going to dive in with questions now. So Miss Hoole's class, come on in and you can take us away with our first question. Miss Dewar, we're coming to you next. Miss Hoole, take us away. Hello, 7-8. Hello.
Hi.
I know, you're on camera. It's crazy. Do you have any questions for Jeannie?
Oh, yeah. Okay, come on up. Come on up.
Come on up.
Hold on, he's coming.
Perfect.
You're asking a question.
Oh,
Hey, man.
how many animals migrate?
Hi. Oh, that's a really good question. And I don't have specifics, but I'm pretty sure we could find it.
I'm going to try and find that. That's one of
I think
those like
Mr.
stump the expert
Johnson-
questions. Is how many animals on Earth migrate is really challenging because it depends on what you mean by migration, how far you're migrating, like things in the ocean migrate too. For winter wildlife, we covered quite a few of them today, but I'll try and get an answer for that because that is a tricky one. So thanks for stumping the expert to kick off our first question.
I'm going to note that and figure it out. Thank you.
Perfect. Ms. Dewar's class, we're going to head to you guys now, a bit of a younger audience. Come on in and take us away. Hey, guys.
We want to know, Jeannie, what is your favorite winter activity?
Ooh, what's your favorite?
Me?
Yes.
I love sliding with my grandkids.
Amazing.
And walking my dogs is a close second.
That's pretty good. Grandkids, dogs, it's sort of a mixed bag. They're both good to hang out with, I find. Thanks, Ms. Dewar. Ms. Barajas, our California crew that loves winter, come on in with a toque and take us away. Do you have a question for us? Hello, Oxnard. Hi, guys. We got the top of your heads. Come on up and ask.
How far can the monarch butterfly hibernate?
Ooh, how far do they go, Jeannie?
They leave Eastern Canada and go to Mexico.
Yeah.
And they leave Western Canada and go to the coast of California. But we would have to check for miles, unless you know off the top of your head, Jesse.
Thousands and thousands of miles. We've actually done many monarch programs here because they're such a popular and charismatic animal. And I've had the chance to go to the Mexico butterfly forest, which is one of the great experiences you can have in the world. So if anyone ever gets the chance to go, it's not too far from Mexico City. Like imagine a forest with like millions of butterflies. They're so heavy, they like make the trees hang down. Like they're so incredible to witness. So one of the great joys in the whole world. We're going to take one on YouTube, and then Lac La Hache Elementary and Miss Trainer's class, we're coming to you next. We are coming to everyone, I promise, so stay tuned. So a great one from Ms. Gonzalez's class. How do penguins survive, Jeannie? We talked about some of the adaptations, but penguins specifically, can you tell us a little bit about how they survive the winter?
Well, actually, one of the pictures that we saw, the adaptations, was the huddling. So they huddle. They would have lots of body fat. And I think that would be their biggest means of adaptation is their body fat.
Yeah. Worth noting, too, there are many kinds of penguin in the world. So some penguins live in like the Galapagos in South Africa where it's really nice and warm. It's like a tropical penguin, which is awesome. But our emperor penguins, if any of you have seen Happy Feet or a variety of things, yes, gather together in a huge group. Emperor penguins are huge too. Like they're not a small animal. They're like 4 feet tall and they weigh like 70 pounds. So they're monsters. And that helps keep them warm as well. So I love that question, guys. One more from YouTube and then Lac La Hache, we're coming to you. Let's see, Miss Smith's class. How do migratory animals know when to start migrating? Very cool question.
They compare it to a built-in intuition that they just know. Like following the magnetic something in the earth, but they're born with it.
Yep. They're born with the ability to know where to go. And you have these weather cues, just like we know when to start putting on a coat. Oh, it's cold. It's time to bundle up. It's time to go inside. Animals feel that same thing. And actually, one of the interesting things of climate change is that as weather changes, animals are sort of missing those cues that they used to have, and it's starting to impact migration around the world, which is fascinating and kind of dark, but a neat element to the whole thing. Our Calgary class, please do share in the StreamYard chat. That's fantastic. I know your devices are off, but we're going to head to Lac La Hache. Come on in and unmute your mic. Hello, guys. Welcome in. Hi. Yes.
Hi.
Unmute. Come talk with us. Hello. Hello. It's a little mute button on the bottom of your screen. There we are.
Can you come in with a question? Hi.
How do animals change their fur?
Ooh, very good question.
Do you mean the color of their fur?
Yeah. So what happens?
It just happens automatically.
Yeah, and it does it.
It happens if you take the snowshoe hair, it starts changing with the temperature. So their body knows when the temperature starts getting colder, they need to switch to their winter coat. so that the owls can't hunt them down and eat them.
So we see this with a bunch of things. We see this with Arctic foxes, Arctic hares. We'll have a bunch ermine stoat sort of mixed, going from brown to white. So a lot of things blend in with the winter, and it's a fantastic adaptation. So yeah, again, winter cues, guys. That's a great answer.
Yep.
Our Calgary crew and Miss Trainer's class, I'm coming to you next. They had a great question in the chat. Are there fewer winter lovers that live in the US than in Canada? So basically, in Canada, do we have more creatures that are adapted and love and hang around in the snow?
I think it would depend on where in the States, because like we share borders. So in the more southern places, it would be a little different, but the northern places, they would migrate. So I'm not sure if there's more, but we have similar ones too.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the same species, like Canada and the US, we may have a border, but for animals' perspective, there is no border. They don't care what's going on. We've got Alaska, which has a lot of really winter adapted animals, like Yukon and Northwest Territories. So that's a great question, guys. It depends on where you are. Miss Trainer's class, I'm heading to you, and then Miss Coop, and then our Hines and Roop crew. Come on in so everyone can flick on their mic. Miss Trainer, take us away. Hey.
The cheetahs hibernate.
Do cheetahs hibernate? I love it. Jeannie.
I didn't hear it, Jesse. I didn't hear the question. It cut out. Sorry.
Okay. Do cheetahs hibernate? Our classic non-Canadian animal of the day. Cheetahs in the East African savannah.
I would imagine not, because it's not probably as cold as it gets here. So yeah, they just stick around where it's warm.
We actually, right before you earlier today, we had a live in Kenya program, and I can say that none of the animals in Kenya need to hibernate because it's pretty toasty all year round there. It's sort of like what it is in the summer in Canada down there. Miss Coop's class, you guys have devices off, but if you want to flick on your mic, I'll know you're good to go, and we'll head to our Hines and Roop crew. Come on in, and Jonesville. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
Hi.
I don't know what to ask. You say you say something. You say something. Talk about skunks.
You can think about it. I can come back.
So many skunks. Why are so many skunks around this season?
Ooh. What's going on in the winter for skunks, Jeannie? Do we know?
Why are there so many skunks around in winter?
Yeah.
Is that the question? You know what? For years, we had no skunks here in Gaspé. Not at all. They've just started coming. You talk about climate change. It's made a difference. But if you're seeing them, it means they're probably out looking for food. So they're hungry. And I would say hunger would drive them. They're looking for food.
So I live in a province now that has no skunks in Newfoundland because they couldn't cross the water. But I used to live in Toronto. And one of the great joys of life is watching a bunch of skunks, particularly a skunk family, move around. You've got an adult mother skunk in the middle, and the babies will like attach themselves to her side, and they all lift their tails up. So it looks like a big furry carpet with this long tail up in the air. I encourage you to all look up skunks moving around together as a family. Great question, guys. All right, so time flies and you're having fun. So this is going to be our last question of the broadcast with Miss Coop's class, but I'm going to send along all sorts of great information on the Canadian Wildlife Federation, a winter wildlife kit, and all sorts of great stuff, and a cool survey that if you're willing to fill out, we'd love to hear from you. But it's just been such a fun broadcast, and we're going to wrap up with Miss Coop's class before we say a big thank you and farewell in a minute. Come on in, folks. Hi.
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 Do you have a question for Jeannie?
Yes.
Yes.
How do animals know how to hibernate in the winter?
Ooh, how do they know what to do?
Well, I think they're born with the knowledge, but I think, like Jesse said earlier, when it starts getting really, really cold and they start to get really uncomfortable, they know it's time to find a place to settle in and go to sleep.
Yeah. It's that season. It's like, I want to be inside too. I feel you for our audience today that wants to be inside with TV and hot chocolate. I understand that inclination, but it's pretty chilly. We've got a 5-foot stalactite hanging from the ceiling or on the roof in the house beside me right now. So it's a little chilly, but I hope you take the chance to get out this winter and learn more about some amazing winter wildlife. iNaturalist and Seek, Jeannie talked about, and is just an amazing tool for discovery. And Jeannie, before we bring in all our classes to say a big thank you and farewell, is there a final message you want to leave our audience with today?
Oh, I would say, you know what? Love winter. It's an awesome season. lots of wildlife, we see them differently. In the summer, you don't see tracks, but if you have snow, you get to kind of figure out what's been roaming around. Lots of birds, good time to put out bird feeders. You get a bird's eye view, and it helps them too. So lots of many ways. And thanks for being here. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Jeannie. This was magnificent. And what we do to wrap up every broadcast, I'm going to bring in all our kids to say a big thank you and farewell. So Miss Hoolsclass, Miss Baraz, Lak Lahash, Miss Trainer, Miss Hoopsclass, thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful day.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.